Because issues of policy of the cost of living, it is about implementation of policies, and that's the work of government.
Javas, can I pull you back a little bit, because I'd want to talk about that, but there's a topic that you have decided here, the four gentlemen, and I'd like to talk about it because it's very important. I know there was natural outrage and there was a lot of fire on social media regarding that explanation. So I want to see where you gentlemen stand tonight, and I'll start with you on the comments of the IG yesterday, saying that the other side took bodies from the morgue to take pictures. I mean, it was described as insensitive. From where you sit, was that something that should have come out of the office of our Inspector General Police?
You know, I wouldn't know where he got that idea from. Maybe, I don't know, he's the Inspector General of Police. He has the you know, he that's his work to know if people were taken from the morgues or not. But I wouldn't say this. You know, I feel for those people who are innocent, like Honorable Kaluma says here, the woman who lost the 2 children and everything. It's sad when you lose a soul, whether from the police, from a goon, from a thief, from anybody. It is sad when you lose a soul. It is also sad when, as a leader, knowingly, you take a child or someone from the streets, someone's child, and incite them to go to the streets to fight with the police. You incite them to violence. Because you see, the police have a duty, a sacred duty, to protect the property of Kenyans, to protect businesses, to protect sanity and the rule of law in this country. And that is their work. We have bought guns, not just for the military, for the police. And policemen in this country have guns. And it is within the law. The Constitution allows them to carry guns. For what? We should be then like the UK, where they say we don't need guns here and there is a no gun policy. All right? But this is the dispensation that we find ourselves in. So I would like to say this. I feel the pain and the pain of the attorney, the IG, the Inspector General also. Because when you realize that your police officers are being accused for deaths that have been visited to people by thugs. You have heard a story here of people having 20, 30 guns. One individual. Then you wonder, what do these people do with these guns? You know, we have had a debate of whether these people were killed by the police or some people who were protesters with an intention of creating tension in this country so that the country is ungovernable. So I want to say this on the issue of the IG. The IG. I find the statement might elicit a lot of emotions, and it is surely emotional. But we also know that there are people who are hell-bent on doing anything and everything
to make sure you're speaking from both ends of your mouth.
No, I'm not. You know, I've told you the truth. I cannot say for the Inspector General whether that is true or not. That is what you asked me. What if
you're condemning and at the same time justifying?
I'm saying I am not. I'm saying this. I don't know whether he lied. So if there are people who went to the morgue and took bodies and took a photo of them, if that happened,
no, but
what would we be condemning?
My brother Kagombe.
If he just said what exactly happened, why would I be condemning it?
My brother Kagombe.
In as much as it may sound insensitive, it is actually a possibility.
No, my
we have seen people in this political divide.
Yes.
We have seen people who have made very, very violent and very flammable remarks. And you wonder what that person would expect of this country when they make such
remarks. Before Kaluma asks the question.
You have had that side saying that for Raila to be president, watu wengine lazima wakufe. That is a statement that has come from a sitting member of parliament.
Who said that statement? He said that statement?
Yes. He said it in a rally that ndo Raila akue rais, watu wengine lazima wakufe. So that is a side, and that is a sitting member of parliament from Azimio. Someone can say that and is in parliament now. So I'm telling you, the possibility of such things happening is very high. Okay. So I cannot extremely, because I don't know, I've not verified what the IG said.
What is your question, Mheshimiwa?
You see, Ken, how far is Kisumu from Nairobi? This is a police inspector general with everything, including chopper. And these are not bodies who are buried. In fact, I'm saying so many of them are still hospitalized, struggling for their lives. How far is Kisumu from Nairobi? And isn't it a public institution? You know, Ken, I was in Kisumu after meeting all those people, including the mortuary. And in one hospital alone, that day we went, there were 11 bodies still down. 4 had been taken for burial. Of course, a short while, 2 others also died. Okay, and I'm telling you, I'm just from burying another 5. I can tell you, Kagombe, what the police, under the instructions of whoever instructed, did in Kisumu in the night of 7th July cannot be done in any part of this country. Cannot be done in any part of this country, and it remains peaceful. So if the Inspector General wanted to confirm, it's not to talk recklessly. Okay, it's the Inspector General of Kenya. I vetted him. And let me tell you, Kagombe, I have vetted, I think, 4 past Inspectors General. We've had them before. I've never seen one like this one. If you looked at Article 75 of the Constitution...
You vetted him, you passed him. Why did you...
If you looked at Article 75 of the Constitution today, if you bothered to check, the conduct even in that statement is so insensitive. Any sane country would say you are not a public officer, because it tells you in your behavior, in your words, when you are a public officer, you must behave in a manner that, you know, brings, you know, respect,
okay,
and everything to that office. So, let us not, you know, imagine that this is an Inspector General for some US or UK. Kisumu is across here. If it is a lie, those bullet wounds are there with the people. And those people are there to talk about it.
Okay.
Including the timing.
You know, Ken,
whose duty is it to confirm?
You must discuss the concept of cause and effect. And you cannot use people as a shield, as a currency for your political expedition. You cannot do that. You cannot take people and use them as a human shield. That you tell them today, let's go and face the police. Because what you have seen,
can I request to leave this debate?
No, gentlemen.
Yeah.
Why?
You know, Ken.
Why do you want to leave?
Ken, at a level where I regard myself as a leader, not a child. When this is the kind of person you bring me to talk national issues with, I have no business. And but Ken, I honored Katie and I've kept out of the media for a long
time. I know.
For over 1 year.
You've never been. I know.
So when you are in leadership, you can't afford to be childish over matters affecting Kenyans.
You can't tell me that.
You people are juvenile.
Let me tell you,
Kenya belongs to all Kenyans, not just you.
Let's not reduce the debate.
What property is this you put beyond the lives of Kenyans?
I'm going to mute your mics now, gentlemen. I want just hold up. You don't. I'm skipping that topic.
You don't get this juvenile.
I'm skipping that topic. There are 2 more gentlemen here. If you are not
talking of life,
let him stay aside. Let him stay aside.
You cannot use people's lives like that. You cannot use people as a shield.
Gentlemen,
for political dispensation.
John, can I have these 2 mics muted? I need to talk to you. Yeah. Mheshimiwa Kaluma, there are 2 gentlemen here who are sober. You don't have to talk about this. I know it's a emotive topic, but you don't need to leave.
You don't call me to debate such lost characters. No. Kenya is bigger than the idiocy you have in Mount Kenya.
No, Bana. It's not. You can't use people's lives like that. You can't.
Gentlemen, as Mheshimiwa Kaluma leaves, your point.
People and you call them shapes.
I would like to say this.
These are the people
honestly, Mheshimiwa from Gatundu.
Mheshimiwa
looks like this, not me.
Understandable. Okay.
It's your liberty to live.
Well, I'd like to say this first. Sorry to every other Kenyan, and I understand his pain. But I'd like to say these 2 things. First is we have a government of lamentations. I think this government is reading the book of Lamentations so much. Because the IG has got a lot of powers. And they have the power to work with the prosecutorial bodies in this country. If there is a mortuary attendant who availed anybody to be used as a display to cause what they are saying that Azimio wanted to achieve, I think that mortuary attendant by now should have been prosecuted, a file should have been opened, and there should be
because that's information that should be available.
Because that should be available. And if there is a family that allowed the body of one of the persons, of their own persons in the mortuary to be used for that purpose, we are praying to the IG to make and open a case against those people, so that those habits do not happen in the future.
Okay.
So I do not think that those statements would have come out the way they came out. If I was advising the IG, I would have told him to instead start by prosecuting the people who are known to have done that. Because for him to say that, then there should be people who did that. So when it comes in the news that a case has been opened against people who have allowed the bodies of their loved one, or mortuary attendants who have displayed bodies of people who were not victims of post-election violence, that would have been a better angle to relay that information, and the government would have been seen as a responsible government that is taking actions on those people. But right now, from where Kenyans sit, they see this as a lamenting government, a government with all the police powers, prosecutorial powers, powers of arrest, a government, because the judiciary is one of the arms of the government, that has not opened any case in court of people who are using dead bodies to get political. Then secondly,
not even mentioned a single area,
and even a name,
to be
and
fair.
even a name, yes. Yeah. And then secondly, it is unfair to think that Raila Amolo Odinga and the Azimio team has used people as shields to achieve particular political objectives for this reason. Right now, if you look at social media, because people sometimes lack the strength to go to the streets, there is a lot of complaints, genuine complaints by Kenyans of inability to fix a meal. In fact, many Kenyans say nowadays they eat one meal like a dog. The members of parliament are thoroughly cushioned from the challenges that are facing Mwananchi. They have a good salary. These people have mileage allowance. They drive vehicles. Their medical cover is way unbelievable. It is out of the reach of very many Kenyans. So they are sitting at a tower where they do not completely understand what exactly Kenyans are going through. And I can tell you, with or without Raila Amolo Odinga, people are protesting in their hearts. People are unhappy. There is no public participation, I remember, where people were asked, how many of you want the price of fuel to go up? And they said yes. There is no public participation where they can show us one video where Kenyans said we are okay with being taxed and we want to pay more for the housing levy from our salaries. There is no public participation where Kenyans said we are okay with the price of electricity going up. But public participation was done, na tukaambiwa hii bill itapita mpende msipende. So with or without people being called for maandamano, with or without people being told to go to the streets, Kenyans have an inherent protest that is existing in them and a complete and total rebellion against a government that they feel is bent on making life difficult for them. And it's incumbent upon you people to whom the president does listen to go and tell him, Your Excellency, even if maandamano is not happening, in the hearts of every working Kenyan, the bulk of them wanaandamana, they are unhappy, and they are sulking with your government. And now he needs to start changing the approach, and he needs to start changing some of the things he's doing. Thank you.
Okay. Javas, we need to end this topic because I want to talk about dialogue, but your point on this, the fact, how did those sentiments sit with you, noting that there are families that are still grieving?
Well, first, Ken, it is curious to have the Inspector General make the remarks. I want to pleasantly imagine that the remarks were made from an informed perspective. And if so, then the place of evidence is quite important, what we call in law functus probans of that remark. It is crucial that, for instance, the Security Committee of Parliament, where Honorable Kaluma, who's just now departed from our midst, sits, to have even subpoena the IG and have him
as Parliament.
As Parliament. Mm-hmm. And listen, because those remarks are critical remarks. When we talk about, for example, corpses being procured for purposes of creating an impression, then Parliament should get to hear from the IG the evidence to do with this. I cannot authoritatively speak about the veracity of the IG's remarks because he has not even expounded on the reality, the location, and the particular morgues where such kind of hiring took place. But I also think that given the sensitivity of such an issue, given how volatile the political space is today, it would be important for every constitutional office holder to be careful about how they frame issues. For purposes of holding a country together, for purposes of also appreciating the oath and worth of the office that all of them hold.
Okay.
Whether member of parliament, whether inspector general, whether governor. Because at times really I'm shocked that I would even hear a governor, for example, take to the agora, and the moment they see the excited masses and they hold the microphone, they speak with so much water in the mouth. We need our leaders to appreciate the place of integrity and being measured in their remarks. But for the issue about the remarks of the Inspector General of Police, possibly it would be important for him to provide clear information about the same, possibly to Parliament.
All right. Gentlemen, we need to move this topic on now to the most important topic of the day, and not to say the other ones are not important, but I need to talk about dialogue. And I'll begin with you, Kinuthia. Do you believe there's something substantial that is going to come out of this dialogue?
First and foremost, I said I'm a lawyer who works in media.